What's up, everybody? Welcome to the jungle. Hope everyone is having a fantastic week. I know I am, as we get the disembodied hand again. Go away. I'm your host, Joe Farsing. Alongside me is my friend Parker Fields. P, what's up, buddy?
What's going on, Joe? Ready to get into the last couple weeks of the boring Bengals news stories. So we got
It,
real news stories.
it's the end of the boring part. Camp starts, for those that don't know, rookies report on Saturday,
Yeah.
which is tomorrow. And on Tuesday is when vets report. So we get actual football with actual guys in pads. There will be cuts and injuries, hopefully nothing serious for the Bengals, but actual things going on. Jeez, too many Christmas. Sorry about that for those that are watching. My daughter has made it her goal to be a pest. Where did you go? Oh, hello. Anyway, if you guys watching on YouTube, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple, Podbeam, wherever the heck you guys all find them, rate us 5 stars if you could. That would be awesome. Also, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/RiverfrontCincy. Subscribe for as low as $2 a month. Get our awesome Slack, get to hang out in our also ever-hopping Slack channel where we get to talk Reds, Bengals. Basketball has been, the basketball channel has been incredibly busy this offseason. And what is going on? Oh, my sweet Lord, child. Anyway, I'm gonna have to edit the crap out of the video here just to take out all the weirdness. We have a food channel which is always hopping. I got a smoker for Father's Day, and everyone's putting their food porn up, which is absolutely delightful. You like brisket? You like smoked meat?
Yeah, brisket's fire.
I'm working on it. I'm getting better at it. I had some beef ribs the other day that were crazy delicious. I could figure out what else to do. I think I've done all the major stuff. I'm gonna have to do a turkey for Thanksgiving. That might be fun, but
I mean, of smoked food, my favorite is definitely wings, though. Like, wings are my favorite food on planet Earth, probably. That or, yeah, I don't know. I'm very basic. Like, I eat everything, but, bar food is probably my favorite food on Earth, honestly.
absolutely same.
And
I never
like,
really had a whole lot of smoked wings before, except when we were at Smoke Justice. Their wings, where they smoked their wings, and they were absolutely the
yeah.
best tasting wings. Not even counting the sauce, just the rub and everything that they put on them, and how perfectly cooked they were. So I think I need to do that next. I've always just been a fried wing guy, but I think they're better that way. So smoked. So
Yeah,
might
they
have to
are.
do that next. So anyway, we have a little bit of news and notes this week, literally just one piece. Yesterday morning on Thursday, the Bengals announced their 2024 Ring of Honor inductees. This year, Corey Dillon and Tim Krumrie. Corey Dillon, after spending the entire past 12 months trying to revamp his image after he sounded like a little crying baby last year when he wasn't inducted, apparently worked. His PR campaign worked. And to be honest, I mean, he deserves it. He's the best running back in team history. Holds the at least the top 2, I think the top 4 or 5 single game records, a rushing record for the team. Most career rushing yards. And 3-time Pro Bowler in the 7 years in Cincinnati. Went to New England, had his best season in their Super Bowl the year after he left Cincinnati. He belongs, and congrats to him. Any thoughts on CD?
Um, I mean, obviously, he was before my time, just a little bit of being a Bengals fan and everything like that. But I know who Corey Dillon is. I've seen a lot of highlights of him and stuff like that. And if you just base it off accolades, like, he definitely has a strong case and should be in the Bengals Ring of Honor. So I have no issues with this. He's the best running back in Bengals team history, I'd say. So absolutely no issues with this. What about you?
Yeah, again, like, it's, if you want to see how good he was, watch the game against Denver in 2000 when he set the at the time the single game rushing
Yeah.
record, 278 yards against what was the second best run defense in the NFL at the time, and he just carved them up against. They knew they weren't going to throw the ball. The Bengals threw for under 100 yards on the game, and it was a close game. And he just kept ripping off 20-yard, 50-yard, 60-yard runs, and just the craziest. Again, I missed the game because I was out at actually Ohio University with my girlfriend, now wife at the time, and on the way back, we're finally getting close to Cincinnati radio territory. And here I'm talking about the historic game, and I'm thinking, oh God, the Bengals got absolutely steamrolled because they were a good team, or the Broncos were a good team. And all of a sudden, Corey Dillon runs for 278 yards. I'm like, wait, what? Like that was just what he could do. The size that he was 6'1", 240 pounds, but had breakaway speed, and that's a terrifying proposition. I mean, it's Derrick Henry. That's what Derrick Henry is.
Yeah.
That size and that speed.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, just based off stats alone, because I can't, base off the eye test. I've seen highlights and stuff, but I mean, he's definitely the best running back in team history, and I definitely think he has a spot. So,
yeah. Other nominee, Tim Krumrie. Tim Krumrie was a 12-year Bengal, 1983 to 1994. Spent his entire career. Two-time Pro Bowler, All-Pro in 1988. 152 tackles from the interior of the defensive line, which is absolutely insane. He had plus 100 another year. He was had 90 a year another season. Best remembered for his gross grisly broken leg in the Super Bowl 23 with the Bengals, which turned out to be huge. I mean, it was Bengals lost by one score, and it'd be nice to have your best interior defensive lineman.
Yeah.
This is someone that I have no idea what that note means, sweetheart. Okay, sponsor the Bengals. Okay. Again, this is someone that I know was before your time. Do you have any thoughts, any opinions on Tim Krumrie?
No. I'm gonna be completely honest. This is it's nuts when you get into football, because there's so many players on the roster that basketball history. I know every single everybody way before my time. All the players that were noteworthy. You know what I mean? And I know exactly who you're talking about. It's crazy because football, there's so many positions. I have no idea who this is, but but I know players from that roster. I obviously know Boomer Esiason, Kenny Anderson, the quarterbacks from that era, stuff like that. But I'm gonna be honest, I don't know Tim Krumrie. He retired 8 years before I was born, so I don't know. No, I can't comment on that one.
The hard nose of hard nose. I mean, you talk about throwback players. They're guys that were of his, he would have tried to play. I know he tried to play on his broken leg, and they're like, yeah, no, you got a broken leg. You're coming out of the game, homie.
So he's an old school badass.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he played every single snap. Again, to have that many tackles from the defensive line is just insane. I'm not sure that he was the best candidate of the ones remaining. I'm of the idea that you want to get the older guys in. Lamar Parrish, Bob Trumpy. These are guys that they're not going to be around too much longer. They played on the very early Bengals teams. Lamar Parrish was Ken Riley's cohort in the backfield and a Pro Bowler and fantastic player, punt returner. Deserves to be in. I mean, he deserves to be considered for the NFL Hall of Fame, much less the Ring of Honor. And Bob Trumpy is the best tight end in team history. He averaged over 20 yards of reception one season as a tight end, which is absolutely insane. These are guys that you want to honor while they're still around. And again, I get Corey Dillon because his numbers were so much better than anyone else. But of the guys that were still, the guys that were nominees, Jim Brees, James Brooks, Collinsworth, David Fulcher, Lapham Montoya, and Reggie Williams, I think those guys should go in soon again, just so they can appreciate the honor. These guys will all get in. They're all legends of the team. But
yeah, I agree with you that they need to do it sooner than later as guys get older and stuff like that, because obviously freak accidents happen. People die prematurely, but
pretty dark, Parker. Pretty dark.
You definitely want to it is very dark, but still you definitely want to get them in before they get to old age.
Right, exactly. And this is where the Bengals erred big time. First off, it took them 50 some odd years before they even started the Ring of Honor. But they should have, outside of the first class of 4, they should have, at least for the first 3 years, inducted 4 guys or so just to get the backlog of guys and just done it in eras. Like, okay, well, this year we're picking guys from this generation. Again, just to make sure that everyone gets their due deserve. Corey Dillon is gonna make the Bengals Ring of Honor. Chad Johnston's gonna make the Ring of Honor. Tim Krumrie will make it at some point, but why? I would just prefer them to get the older guys in.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it. Just before they get forgotten, because again, this is voted on by season ticket holders, and season ticket holders get younger. Each further year that you're getting a year apart. I mean, players, you get players that are getting in that retired, but 10, 20 years before a lot of these guys were even born. So
yeah, exactly.
Oh well. On to the meat of today's episode. Speaking of smoked meats, as we were earlier, we need to get someone to sponsor this podcast that does barbecue or something like that.
Smoked meat.
That would be a perfect. See, that would be a perfect segue into a sponsor. The meat of this episode is brought to you by whatever.
That is a good job. That is a good punchline right there. That is good.
I know. I'll find someone to send that there. Like, hey, listen, I got the perfect idea. We get like 5 people that watch us a week. 3 of them are from out of the state, but still, no. This is pretty much. We're just talking about storylines to look for as training camp starts this week and into next week. So, again, Rookies Report on Saturday, vets on Tuesday. Number 1, the most important storyline, and this is the one item that is going to say how the Bengals season goes, is Joe Burrow's health. We're assuming he's going to be healthy. I don't know what, and also assuming that he's still going to be limited, taking days off and letting Jake Browning and the other quarterbacks in camp take reps throughout the season, or throughout the training camp. But the assumption is that he's going to be 100% before the end of training camp, right?
Yeah. And I think that's definitely a good assumption. I do definitely think he's going to be able. I have hope. I do. I don't want this to come back to bite me in the ass, but I do have hope. I think that maybe the Bengals learned their lesson a little bit and are going to take it lighter on him throughout this training camp and just try and make sure he gets into the season. And I think also this is the first time Burrow hadn't. When he tore his ACL, he had an injury, but he wasn't fully recovered by the time of training camp. I'm assuming this injury didn't take the full. Hell, it's been like 9 months since that injury happened. 8 months. It was like last November. So
it was in November.
Months. Yeah. So, I definitely think that he's going to, likely get a full healthy training camp, and I am curious to see what's going to happen if he does have that.
Yeah, it's curious because considering how slow their starts have gotten off during the Zach Taylor regime, he's a coach that takes things easy in camp, and I'm on board with that because you want your guys healthy and not worn down by the end of the season. But there was a thought that they would, maybe play a little more, go a little bit harder in camp, and play more in the preseason games. Obviously, I don't foresee that happening with Burrow at all. Maybe a series on the last game, just taking some snaps with light bullets, making sure that there's no tentativeness, and his wrist is fine when he's got someone coming at him. But again, this would have been the year that I think they would have brought them out, maybe for a couple weeks, maybe go a quarter of the second game, and then maybe a few series in the third game. But yeah, at least Burrow and everything, I would be surprised if we see him at all outside of a few reps in the last game, right?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to play any more than that, but I wouldn't hate him playing a little bit, but, it is what it is.
The only thing is, God forbid something happen, and that's always the risk. I mean, you run out there but
that's the risk once you step on the field in the season, anyways. Like as soon as they step when the season happens.
I mean, Burrow hurt his calf last year when just in camp itself, like not even during live hitting or anything like that. So that's injuries are going to happen, and you can't completely wrap these guys in bubble wrap because they're going to have to face live stuff anyway. But we'll see. Second point is T. Higgins' frame of mind. And the deadline passed on Monday for the Bengals to extend him, or he's playing the year on franchise tag, and came and went as passed, or as expected. This is going to be T. Higgins' last year with the team. I can see them tagging him next year and trading him. I don't think they're going to let someone of his talent and his ability just walk scot-free, but I don't think they're going to extend him at any point or re-sign him. Seeing how he signed his franchise tender as early as he did in June, just about a month ago, I don't think there's anything to worry about to where he's going to be out there worrying about not wanting to get hit, not wanting to get hurt and jeopardize his chance for a long-term contract like Jesse Bates did. And I wouldn't blame him if he did. This is someone who's been with the team, been with Joe Burrow now for 5 seasons. Burrow knows what he can do. And it's the only reason you'd want him out there is running routes that, depending on what the system's going to look like under Dan Pitcher versus Brian Callahan. But he knows how to study a playbook. And even if he's not out there practicing, he's going to be out there watching the other guys, watching the reps, seeing how they're supposed to be run. But again, that he, and I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a sports psychiatrist, but that he signed that early, it's a sign that he's bought in, he's ready to go, and he wants, he wants to win.
I agree with that. My question is, so say the Bengals were to win the Super Bowl this year, and T. Higgins puts up just as good of numbers as Jamar, you still don't think you'll get paid, which is just nuts to me. Like, if we won the Super Bowl and we didn't pay him, I'd be pissed. Like, you don't break up that formula. I'm sorry. So, if that did happen and we still didn't pay him in the offseason, I'd be pissed. Honestly.
Well, look at it this way. If they win the Super Bowl, then they won the Super Bowl. Like, they're at the mountaintop. And that's when you can.
They'll be like, oh, we won it. No need to try and build a dynasty or something. we won.
I think what would really be the difference, whether they would entertain signing him or not, is how the rest of the guys develop. You got the rookies and second-year guys that are filling in the depth, and if those guys don't progress, or no one shows to be any more than wide receiver 3, or a reserve, if Yosavash never doesn't pick up the intricacies, if Jermaine Burton takes time because he's a rookie to figure things out, and they don't think that wide receiver 2 is in the building, then yeah, I could see that. But it would have been a hell of a lot cheaper to extend him already.
That's true.
I don't know what the right thing is to pay 2 wide receivers top of the market value. Obviously, Jamar is more valuable and will get a bigger contract.
Nobody's had this issue, have they?
The Eagles are paying.
The Eagles are doing it, yeah.
Yeah,
but
different situation because they signed them at different times. But
they didn't draft both those guys. So
yeah,
obviously Devontae Smith they did, but yeah, because I'm trying to think no other teams pay a high price for 2 receivers, do they?
Yeah,
I'm trying to think. I don't think so.
Not to the best of my knowledge. The
what's Vikings going on? Have to. They'll have to. Addison's gonna get
maybe. Addison's 1 year or.
He looked damn good. So
this is his second year, right? He was a rookie. Yeah.
This is year.
So it's they've got.
But he did just get a DUI, so.
Yeah. But he also has 4 years, before they, because they'll pick up his fifth year option. So they got 4 years to worry about it. Again, wide receivers rarely get signed before their 5th year, and that's why Jamar hasn't get paid. They're waiting it out to make sure that they get the top dollar as much as possible. So, but to that point though, Tyler Boyd, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, what do those guys all have in common? Who are they drafted and developed by?
The Bengals.
So that proves that they're pretty good at identifying wide receivers in the draft that are.
I'm sorry, whoever was drafting Jamar Chase, though, he's going to be a star.
But what was the discussion? Jamar Chase or Penei Sewell?
Yeah, it was.
Penei Sewell's a fantastic lineman.
I wanted them to draft Penei Sewell at the time. I'm not gonna lie, which now is a terrible take. I don't know why I wanted them to do that. But
Penei Sewell's a fantastic lineman, and Bengals have had a terrible line. So I got the argument. I completely understood the argument. I just thought, load up on talent, load up on skill position players, and patchwork, and you have those guys, and then patchwork together a line. I mean, yeah, having that great, that legitimate elite quarterback helps elevate the play of those around you, but having receivers that can win the one-on-one battle, so your quarterback doesn't have to throw you open, or that you can, do more exotic things because you have guys that can make plays, that can break tackles, or go up and high point the ball like T. Higgins can. Having that, so you don't have to rely on your quarterback, there's something to be said for that. So, I mean, yeah, Tom Brady never really had elite wide receivers outside of Randy Moss in a few years. Edelman was fine. Wes Welker was fine. I mean,
Yeah,
again,
those
outside
guys,
of his
so.
outside of his tight ends and a few years with Randy Moss, who was his best receiver? Troy Brown. I'm
Mike
sure I'm
Evans.
missing, and these are guys, but they're back
Mike
before
Evans
you were born.
on the Bucks.
Well, I mean with the
on the Pats.
yeah,
Branch.
with the Patriots. What's that?
Deion Branch.
But yeah, but was he that?
No,
I mean, he was
but I'm saying
fine.
that like that's like one of the best guys he played with.
Right. And he went to Louisville, so screw that guy.
His one game with Antonio Brown on the Patriots.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that psychopath. So
he is a good follow on Twitter, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Antonio Brown?
Great follow on Twitter. Yes.
Just for the insanity. I've seen some of his
hilarious.
stuff. But I legitimately think when
Burfict
hit him,
everything with a CTESPN.
I legitimately think when Burfict hit him with the cheap shot in the 2016 playoff game, that knocked him crazy. I mean, he was always a little bit nuts to a point, but he went absolute batshit crazy after that, and after the concussion that was that he incurred there. It's like I think Burfict just knocked whatever.
Yeah, he was like loose. He was like a normal prima donna wide receiver nuts before.
Yeah,
he was just like a normal wide receiver, and then it went up a level. Speaking of which, this is still on topic of football and stuff. Did you watch the receiver documentary on Netflix?
I have not. I'm going to.
I haven't either. I want to watch it though. I keep seeing clips of it, and it looks good. I watched the quarterback one, and it was good. So I assume the receiver one's going to be good.
Yeah, and I'll watch. I mean, it doesn't matter whether it's good, bad, or otherwise. I'll still watch. I mean, shit. I watched the documentary on American Gladiators that was on Netflix. Did you watch that?
No.
Obviously, American Gladiators was before your
time. I know what American Gladiators is. Yeah, but I thought you were talking about the documentary. I was like, nah. No.
But I'm talking about the documentary about American Gladiators.
Okay.
That show was batshit crazy, and I grew up watching it. And I, I'll still watch it. I'll watch documentary on anything sports related, so I will definitely get into those. So, all right, next storyline. Flipping over to the other side of the ball. Safeties meshing. Again, this is what sunk the team last year on defense, was just the poor play from the safeties. Obviously, Nick Scott is gone. Dax Hill is no longer a safety. Jordan Battle was good in his short time there, but Bengals went out, shorted up, got the best available safety on the market in Geno Stone. Brought back Von Bell to battle with Jordan Battle for that spot, presumably. If those guys can mesh, and if the communication can just get better, outside of run defense, which obviously, I mean, that run defense is predicated on your defensive line being able to, just to stone the linemen and let the linebackers and everyone else flow to the ball. But if you can get those guys ironed out, if they can get the communication, get just lined up in the right position more than anything else. But I mean, you don't have to be playmakers like Jesse Bates. Just be in the right spot. Get linebackers and everyone just where they're supposed to be. Then your defense is helped tremendously. You're not going to give up all of just the huge play after huge play after huge play.
Yeah, and if you watch too, not even just in the passing game, if you watch the Bengals, I don't know, since probably the last 7-8 years, the biggest problem defensively has been our tackling in the secondary. Like we've struggled so much with stopping a run after 6 or 7 yards and making it turn into a 20-yard run because the running backs break tackles and stuff. Like if these guys can freaking tackle better, it's a huge upgrade. Seriously.
A lot of the problem, and I don't know, if this is scheme related, I don't know if this is being lined up in the wrong spot. Last year that I noticed was over pursuing and guys just completely getting themselves out of position. So
Yeah.
when running back changes direction and slips out the backside, there's nobody there because whoever's the backside linebacker, he's already flown to the play, and that's where your big plays are. And then your defensive backs are having to make the tackle 15 yards downfield instead of a 3, 4, 5 yard gain. There's no one there to miss a tackle.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I'm hoping that it's going to be better. What do you think is going to happen though, playing out? Like, do you think that Battle's going to win the position, or do you think that Von Bell will? Like, if you had to put money on it.
I would say, I don't know who's going to win to be the starter. I would say that Jordan Battle is going to have, everyone being healthy, that Jordan Battle is going to have more snaps than Von Bell.
Okay.
I think he's just more athletic, and he is a great fit. I mean, he's a great replacement, and having Von Bell there is a great fit because I mean that's his a super intelligent guy that understands what's going on, can make plays, good hitter, and to be able to learn from a veteran in front of you, like I think that's only going to help him down the long in the long run. I don't want to see him lose reps.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't look like a rookie last year. This isn't what like he had a huge learning curve. It wasn't like DJ Turner playing cornerback or anything like that. He understood and that was the whole thing is he's just an incredibly brilliant mind and understands what's happening in front of him so he can react immediately. Where are you on the battle with Battle?
I kind of like what you said that you're not sure who's going to win, but you think like he'll get more snaps and stuff. If I had to guess, I feel like Von Bell, it's going to be his job to lose a little bit going into training camp. But if I also had to guess, I feel like Battle might take the job from him eventually, whether it be training camp or week 3 or 4. That's what I would guess.
Yeah, and I mean,
I would think they definitely probably like promised Bell like you're starting to come here. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm sure they told him he was going to be a starter, so we'll see.
Yeah, and Bell will probably get more starts, but again, it's a matter of who plays more snaps. What is Bell going to be there in base? Because maybe they trust him more in run defense, and then when it's obvious passing downs, they're going to bring in. And I mean, Lou said before, 2 years ago when Dax was a rookie, when they had Jesse Bates and Von Bell, he doesn't want to ever rotate safeties.
Yeah,
I think this is a year he's going to be forced to, just because that's the team that he has. I mean, you now have 3 capable safeties as opposed to last year having half of a capable safety in a rookie third rounder. Whether or not they thought that Battle was going to be there or not, or thought he was maybe a first round, second round talent, he's still a third round rookie, and that's not a guy that you want to have to rely on. But that's where they ended up being. So next battle or next storyline for the training camp, defensive line depth. I think this is after safeties, assuming health for, again, you can't expect health, but you assume health, right? Assuming health for Burrow and everyone else. I think the next most important thing that's going to ensure or doom the team for success is defensive line depth.
Yeah,
I think missing DJ Reader is huge. The injury is more than anything else, not his lack of presence this year. I don't think anyone expects him or thinks that he's going to be healthy for the Lions this year. So obviously they're going to switch up their scheme a little bit because you don't have that nose tackle type unless they trust. Yeah, and unless they trust McKinley Jackson or he proves that he can be that guy. But again, this is a mid-round pick that you're not going to expect that guy to step in and totally just replace an absolute stalwart and basically the best nose tackle in the NFL that DJ Reader was. And then your edge rushers, they need Joe Osai to figure it out. This is his 4th season. He's had injury issues, hasn't been able to put it together for more than a couple of games here or there. They need Myles Murphy to be the guy that they drafted, and I fully expect that Myles Murphy's going to have a solid season. But they need more guys. They need to play less Sam Hubbard because Sam Hubbard is not a pass rusher.
Yeah. I agree with you 100%. I think that we'll be able to figure it out because I think we do have talent there. I just think it's whether guys, develop and guys get more of an opportunity in spots that they can succeed in. But I think that's going to be the key. Like with coaching, I think you need to put certain guys in spots that they can succeed in and win battles in because um, this isn't the most talented defensive line in the world. Obviously, you have an elite pass rusher in Trey Hendrickson. We all know he's a top 5 to 10 pass rusher in the league. But I mean, everybody else, these guys are going to be swapping in and out. So make sure you have fresh people there to rush the passer and stuff like that, and just keep rotating in and out. Make sure whoever's rushing the passer is fresh and ready to go.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see Sheldon Rankins get going on the offense or on the defensive line. I think he's going to be a huge impact again on pass rush. Says he's a 3-down player. The numbers say otherwise. He's not very good against the run. But then again, neither was anybody else on the defensive line. So more snaps from him and fewer from Zach Carter is a huge, huge improvement. Because again, you're going to get solid pass rush. Maybe he's not going to get a ton of snaps, but he's going to push the middle of the pocket. There's going to be the guys on the outside, whether it's Hendrickson kind of getting cleanup sacks or getting sacks on his own, or Hubbard or Murphy, whatever. There's going to be sacks out there because the middle of the pocket's going to get pushed, especially with him and BJ Hill, who, BJ Hill provides a nice solid pass rush as well. So, other sort of, again, this kind of goes with just the defense in general. They need to bounce back from the linebackers. Logan Wilson and Jermaine Pratt are talented. They're incredibly talented guys. They struggled last year, and I'm willing to give them a pass because I'm looking at their body of work, right? Mm-hmm. Like Logan Wilson is a borderline Pro Bowler every year. Jermaine Pratt is a playmaker. That guy just comes up huge year after year after year. Not sure who the third linebacker is going to be when they run a more traditional front. Probably Akeem Davis-Gaither, because that's why they brought him back. He's always solid in what he gives, but he's not spectacular. He's not going to push any of the guys for real playing time. But you need just more consistent play. And again, I think a lot of that might have had to do with the safeties. There is always a ton of space, especially when they're in zone coverage, between the linebackers and in front of the safeties. Again, we talk about the Texans game and Noah Brown. That guy feasted in that range between the safeties and the linebackers. I mean, he had 20-yard catch after 20-yard catch, and
that game gives me nightmares.
Oh, absolutely.
Noah Brown.
Noah Brown. The fact that nobody could cover anybody, and the fact that they still would have won the game if Tyler Boyd would have caught the fucking easy touchdown.
Yeah, because they weren't really allowing. That was the thing. They were moving the ball like that, but the Texans weren't putting up a crazy. Like the Texans should have had 50 points that game, like for how well they moved the ball. Yeah, and they didn't.
They ran it relatively well. I mean, C.J. Stroud was surgical. I mean, that was the point where C.J. Stroud.
They had like an 120-yard rusher that game.
Yeah, Devin Singletary was absolutely feasted. And that was the game where I'm like, okay, C.J. Stroud is a legitimate quarterback. Like, before that, you're like, he's having a good, like numbers look good, but is this, legitimate guy? And I thought he was quarterback one coming out the year before. I didn't care much for Bryce Young, at least, to be 1-1. But
he had 150 yards, Singletary.
Okay, I was going to say, I thought he had a huge game.
He did.
And again, that's allowing huge plays. I don't know his actual play log in terms of like 10-yard, 15, 20-yard carries, but it feels like he got a lot of big plays outside of just turning out 6, 7, 8 yards of carry. So,
yeah, they had 560 yards of offense. So 30 points is not a lot for that many yards, to be honest. We should have won that game because they weren't capitalizing on how well they were moving the ball.
Yeah, that's one of the games to where you win, you feel like you stole it, but
yeah,
Bengals still should have won.
They should have. You're right.
Oh well, we digress. Next storyline is basically just the training camp battles that we outlined last week. Again, the wide receiver 3 or depth, who's replacing Tyler Boyd on the field. Again, I don't know if it's going to be a true slot receiver guy like Chuck Sizzle or something like that, or if they just move around Burton and Jamar Chase or Yosavash. I think that's what they're going to end up doing, is just kind of moving guys in and out of the line to be that wide receiver 3. Because then they have Gesicki to be a large slot if they want to, if it's third down and manageable. Running back battle again. I don't know if so much of a battle, so much as he's just curious to see how the split it's going to be.
Yeah, that's what I'd say. Because I mean, both these guys are going to play a lot.
Yeah. It was interesting. I was looking at Pro Football Focus, and they're rating just position groups in all the leagues.
Yeah.
And Bengals had one of the lowest for running backs. Like they're sorry, I'm trying to find where's the running backs here? Just thrilling as we talk. Their receivers were all the way down to the 10th in the league just because they lose Tyler Boyd and they don't know where they're going to be after being number one. Running backs, they had them as the 30th best running back group. I don't buy that at all. Because you're not replacing Joe Mixon with Zach Moss, you're replacing Joe Mixon with a totally different philosophy, in my opinion. Again, they're not going to rely on Chase Brown or Zach Moss to be that bell cow that's going to carry 25 times a game. I would hope that it's 15 times a game for this guy, 15 times for that guy, maybe a couple carries by Dravion or whoever ends up winning running back 3 position. So
yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. I did want to ask real quick because we were talking about the receivers a second ago. Where did because I've seen this a lot. Where did the T. Higgins is injury prone come into play?
It's more of, I don't want to say injury prone. I think it's more
I've had people. I forget who. I think. I want to say I don't remember. I was talking to somebody and they were like, if he can just stay on the field or something like that. I was like, he's missed like 7 career games in 4 seasons. That's not exactly like injury prone. You know what I mean? Burrow's missed about triple the games he has in the same amount of time.
I think it's more. There were a couple of games that he missed in.
This year is the only year he really 2021 he missed 3 games, but then 22 and 2020 he played every game besides 2022. He missed the week 18 game, obviously, because they sat him.
Yeah. He's missed what 1, 2, 3, 4. I missed a handful of games. There were a couple of games where he was listed as active, but he never actually played.
Yeah.
I'm not sure the actual percentage of snaps compared to Ja'Marr Chase. Ja'Marr Chase has missed it. He missed a month a couple years ago with the hip injury, but it's I don't know. Again, compared to the the time that Burrows missed, where Burrows missed 7 games, and I think it was 7 games both times, wasn't it? I forget the exact.
Yeah, I want to say. I
think both injuries were in the same
times.
Yeah, both injuries were in the same week.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, missed 6 games and 7 games. So yeah, it was the same week 11. So people try to say that Burrow's injury prone. Like, no, he's had just 2 injuries that have cost him time. They just were season enders.
Yeah, if it happened again, I'd say the label would fit. I would say.
Yeah, let's get through this year again. Let him have a full run up. Let him have an unremarkable training camp again. If he's good to go, cool. Put him on. Obviously you want to get him enough reps so that he's comfortable and ready to step in. Get week 1, absolute full bore, ready to go. But don't overexpose him. And let's just get to the season so we can start week 1 and kick the crap out of the Patriots. Is that too much to ask for?
Literally, I agree with you. I'm there with you on that.
This is a year. It's funny because the Bengals were in back-to-back AFC Championship games.
Less than 2 months, by the way, until that game. Month and a half. That's nuts.
Less than 50 days.
Yeah.
Already. Let's freaking go. Yesterday was 50 days until or I guess today's 50 days until the start of Bearcats college football. Again, I know you're not a Bearcats fan, but
it's football 50 days till
football season is here.
They're one of the worst ranked teams in the new game.
That's what's crazy.
They're bad. They're like a 78 overall. I'm not a Bearcats hater or anything. I like you. I root for UC. Like if Kentucky's not I was rooting for them in the college football playoff. Like when they're in the tournament, as long as they're not playing Kentucky, I root for UC 100%.
Yeah. A lot of erasure about the team. Like they had one bad season, and then all of a sudden, they've just completely fallen off. Yeah, they went to a better conference, but that also means the recruiting is improving. I'm not a Scott Satterfield fan, but I'm willing to give him more than one season that was going to be crappy just because of the circumstances. They're going to a tougher conference.
What
And they
happens
lost
if
their
it's
coach.
crappy again?
Um,
Does he keep his job, you think? Like if they're like 3-9?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think the
so either.
expectations have absolutely, the expectations changed. I mean, Tuberville only had 2 bad seasons. Now, Tuberville was an asshole and has continued that into the United States Senate. But that's crazy that the guy who flamed out as Bearcats head coach cussed out his own
he's
fan
a
base.
Senator?
Yeah,
he's
a senator.
Idea about that.
Yeah, he's a senator for the state of Alabama, even though he lives in Florida.
I just looked that up when you said that.
Yeah.
I was like, he's a senator.
Yeah. We are what sent him to the U.S. Senate.
To politics. With Biden and Trump, D1 football coaches beforehand, too. It's just where everybody comes from.
I don't know what to. We'll leave that here. I don't want to get into politics here. It's going to be an ugly 4 months before the election. Yeah. So, yeah, but I think if Satterfield doesn't, like, if they have another year like last year, I think he's out. I think this year, if he's 6-6, something like that, I think his season's safe. And I think it depends on how they progress going forward. Are they better in week 10, 11, 12 than they were to start the season out? They have a lot easier schedule this year. And they didn't have a hard schedule last year, but they've got, a pretty soft schedule this year. So there's no excuse not to be close to bowl eligible. I expect them to be 6-6 and play in some crappy, second-rate bowl against the Sun Belt Conference team or something like that. But
yeah,
go Appalachian State. Are they still in the Sun Belt?
Yes.
There's been so much.
Yeah, they are.
All of the, obviously, all the conference realignment going on with the P5, P4, or P4 now school conferences. That's at least easy to track because they're big names and big brands, and you know where they are. It's schools like Appalachian State and Arkansas State and Middle Tennessee State. Are these CUSA teams? Are they like the AAC looks completely different than what it did 2 years ago when Cincinnati?
Yeah, who's even still in the AAC now?
Yeah,
North Texas. I only know that because my Road to Glory guy on NCAA. I was at North Texas at one point. I don't know.
Mean Green. Let's see who's in the.
I've been playing that game an absurd amount of time. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I've played a lot just since it came online on Tuesday.
Yes.
Were you there waiting at 4:00?
Yeah.
Same.
I was there at like 3:55. I was on the loading screen, like ready to go.
I was texting Tim Daniel, host of Late Night Reds with Ben Brown. If you guys aren't watching, if you guys are Reds fans and not watching, what the hell are you doing?
What an ad line there, or a punchline there.
I was texting him. I took a screenshot of my TV with like 55 seconds left. He's like, yeah, same.
Yeah, I was texting him about, he posted on Twitter. I'm like, so listen. So I was texting him. So Tim, if you're listening, I got to laugh at you here for a second, Tim. You sent to me. He's playing, Joe, I'm pretty sure he's playing on like rookie mode, and he posts that he played a play now match with Notre Dame versus like some terrible school and won by like 80, and he posted it on Twitter. I'm like, that's the first thing you do when you load in? Yeah, that. Yeah.
77-6 Notre Dame.
The first thing I texted him, I said, what difficulty are you playing on?
I started on.
I know he's not playing on Heisman because I know he's not. I know he's playing on a like whatever the rookie is or the second
freshman. Yeah, I started on freshman because I don't play Madden much, and it's been a while. But it's it's a little crazy and too easy. So
I play all Heisman, but I play a lot of like sports video games, so I'm very ready to go. But I play on Heisman. It's not that bad, honestly. The only thing that's hard is to not throw as many picks. Don't picks is crazy on Heisman.
Yeah, I bumped the difficulty up.
I won the Heisman on Heisman difficulty. So I mean,
nice job.
Texas Tech,
the Red Raider, Patrick Mahomes University.
Yeah.
I bumped up the difficulty and threw my first 3 passes: interception, incompletion, interception, both to the linebacker over the middle. I'm like, okay, let's we need to figure this out. We're gonna throw some dump off passes to the running back, get into a rhythm.
Yeah, you just have to be more patient when you go to higher difficulties. You can't just like try and like throw deep every time or you're screwed because they'll just pick it off.
So the AAC had Southern Methodist. SMU is now in the ACC, which makes sense. A school from Dallas.
Who's in the A's? Oh, SMU.
Yeah. They're now in the Atlantic Coast Conference with Stanford and Cal, schools from the Bay Area of California in the Atlantic Coast Conference because geography doesn't matter anymore.
I kind of like it though.
I just think it's weird. I don't really care so much. I think eventually it's going to be either four 16-team conferences or 8 8-team divisions. It's not going to be the Big Ten, ACC, SEC. It's going to be some college football, National College Football League or something like that. And it's they're going to try to keep traditional schools together, but Nebraska and Rutgers do not need to be in the same conference, right? You just try to set it out geographically. Most schools would be completely cool with that because that moves back to the more traditional conferences that we're used to. So long as UC is in that 64 team, I don't care how it breaks down. Like UC has twice been up to a big school level and they got bumped down because Big East ESPN killed the Big East. But
I was gonna say, my thing is I think this year college football is gonna have a lot more casual fans than they've ever had before. Because one, people are gonna be playing the game. That's gonna get people more into watching sport. I mean, I'm gonna be more into it, like besides just watching my team. And then two, everybody has a shot this year. Like, it sounds crazy to say, but like Kentucky, we finished 10th in the country 3 years ago. Like, we could have made the playoff now, like with the expanded playoff. That's why, like, everybody has a shot. And like, we were never going to be a top 4 team, but we could get to 12th, but we could get to 12th or 11th. And that's why I think it's going to be cool because everybody's going to have a shot this year. Like, a lot of those, schools that, aren't going to get in the top 4, but they could get you to 7th or 8th. Like, they're going to have a shot at it this year. I think that's
you can see a team like Minnesota. I have
Missouri last year, they would have been in the playoff. Like teams like that.
I have no idea what Minnesota's team looks like for 2024, but just a team they're not going to battle. Like they're not going to battle Michigan or Ohio State for the top of the Big Ten, but they can have a good season.
Yeah,
exactly, and be able to make it. And as the disembodied hands are back, they have a chance to make it. And I think that's cool. Like people are complaining about the expansion of the playoffs. No, I like it. I wish it were a 16 team because I hate bye weeks. I think a better team, like your benefit of being a better team is you've got a better roster.
Yeah.
I think it's crap that you get an extra week. I hate it in the NFL. Home field advantage is enough of a benefit, but whatever.
Also, breaking news for Cincinnati fans. Joey Votto has been called up to AAA.
I saw that. I think this guy has a future. He's now a Buffalo Bison.
Which, I mean, he can definitely – I mean, I know he's, like, rehabbing still, but, like, I assume just give him a week and put him on the big league roster because the Blue Jays offense has been horrible.
My distraction is back. I'm curious to see because, the Blue Jays are bad. So if he comes up, because, I mean, he's got less than 2 weeks for the trade deadline. What if he comes up and rakes in a week? Do they move him? Like, this might be his last season. Again, like, does he want to go through the hassle of another offseason? Maybe he'll be healthy.
I think if he raked the rest of the season, then I think he'll play again. Because I think he said, like, he wants to, keep playing.
Yeah.
But, like, obviously, like, if he sucks, and I don't think he's going to want to go through the minor league route again.
Right. Even if he doesn't rake, I would guarantee that teams would look to trade for him just because you're getting someone who can, who can hit right-handed pitching. Again, you don't know what he's going to get against left-handed. He's been great against lefties in his career, and he's struggled as he's gotten older.
Power is there, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. You're getting a ton of power. And while I wasn't on the keep Joey Votto on the Reds thing. Like I didn't care one way or the other. I understood the points. He would make sense for the Reds now because of all the injuries and lack of productivity they've had. Like they need a left-handed hitter to hit righties, and having that guy for DH first base makes more sense now than it did in February or March.
Yeah, and a lot of those guys, a lot of, like you saw Will Benson. Will Benson said like they miss Joey and stuff like that. So I mean, obviously locker room wise, he helped out a lot.
When people say that, you always wonder if they're just making an excuse for the fact that Will Benson has been just flaming hot ass this year. Like I get, he
and still been better than Jake Fraley, man.
Right. He's been productive. I like Fraley, but his numbers, his peripheral numbers and predictive numbers were not good coming into the season. He doesn't hit the ball hard enough, and he's obviously just a platoon player. So I wouldn't be sad if he were. He said, "No, he's had to deal with personal stuff, like his daughter has been sick."
Yeah,
and that weighs heavily.
Yeah, I definitely think that's a key part of it for sure.
And I think that's been his kind of saving grace. Like maybe when things get if she's healthy and back in, that he's able to focus back on baseball. But if that's an issue, then they have mental health rest so that they can and he can deal with family, or the family medically, whatever they call that list.
Yeah, because I mean, 1 home run and 202 at bats is crazy. Yeah. 12 RBIs in 68 games is crazy, especially for a guy that's not a leadoff average speed guy.
Right, he's a guy who's supposed to hit right-handed. Supposed to be some pretty decent thump, kind of like a what Scott Schebler was for a couple years with the Reds. Remember Scott Schebler made an all-star team, hit 30 home runs for the Reds?
Yeah. We've had a lot of random guys like that.
Yeah. Jake Fraley has one more RBI than Resigns. Resigns has played 7 games.
He has 5 times the home runs. Resigns.
We've gone a long time without talking about what we're here to talk about with the Bengals. I think that means we're pretty much put a bow tie on this one, right?
Yeah, I mean, at least we stayed on stuff that people listening would care about, though. We just talked about Cincinnati sports, Cincinnati sports, so we stay on topic.
Elsewhere around the riverfront this week, Red Show, Nate, the Podfather, Bill Lack, and I drafted All-Stars. Check it out. It's a fun episode, picking out the best All-Stars by season. You can only pick one, so only one Joe Morgan, only one Johnny Bench, only one Scooter Gennett was allowed to be picked. I don't know how we all would have picked Scooter if we had a chance, but luckily I ended up with him.
I'm not gonna lie, the Scooter Gennett 2-year run was like the 2 years I stopped watching baseball, because I just we traded our entire team. I in real life quit my freshman year of high school, so I just didn't watch baseball for 2 years. And I come back and I see the old Brewers backup second baseman was our best player in All-Star. I was like, what the hell has happened?
That was the weirdest. I mean, the fact that he had 4 home runs in a season.
Yeah, I remember
4 home runs, 4 home runs in a game. And it's just where did this guy come from? And then he returned to obscurity, kind of like Derek Dietrich. And
we've had a lot of those guys.
Yeah. I mean, they got a huge year by Brandon Drury and then flipped him for a couple of decent prospects 2 years ago. Although Drury's still doing pretty decent.
Adam Duvall's never been the same player. He's had some decent seasons outside the Reds, but he was hitting almost 40 home runs on the Reds.
Yeah. He's still a good defensive player, though. So, I would take him back for a guy that crushes, not the Reds have too many platoon players, but.
Yeah. We need a starting outfielder at this point. We don't need another 4th outfielder. We have 8 of them.
Please trade for Lou Bob and Garrett Crochet. The Reds just drafted a bunch of players. They drafted Chase Burns, who can throw 195 miles an hour with one of the best sliders I've ever seen in my life. Trade some of these guys. Nobody cares about someone who's going to be a Red by 2028. Okay.
Agreed. But I went to just look at Brandon Drury real quick. I was like, what's he up to? Oh God. He has a sub 500 OPS this season. He has a 457 OPS in 45 games. He was hurt, but still.
Yeah.
45 games.
Angels are flaming hot ass. Mike Trout is hurt. Obviously, Shohei is gone. Drury had some decent seasons. What was he? Yeah, last year he had a
He was good the last. Yeah, he was good the last few years, even
yeah,
outside of
114
Reds.
OPS plus last year for the Angels. Again, he had 131 OPS plus for the Reds before they traded him to San Diego. So
Yeah, he was a monster for the Reds. He was their best
yeah,
player on that flaming hot ass 2022 team.
I'm trying to. What's hilarious is the narrative around the Reds, and rightfully so, is they're an unserious franchise, right? Like they're not good. They're not in line to contend with the team that they have and the guys they have in the minors to really contend for a championship anytime soon, right?
Yeah.
3 out of the last 4 years, they finished above 500, which is
Yeah,
crazy. They were in the playoffs in the weird expanded playoffs in the weird COVID year in 2020. 2021, they finished a few games over 500. What were they? 82 and
83 and
80 or 83 and
79,
79. Yeah. 22 was an absolute crap fest. I mean, but that year was also littered with injuries. And then
we knew we were going to suck that year, too.
Yeah.
Like, everybody knew it.
Yeah. I mean, it was, they didn't replace guys that had left. They traded guys in the offseason. I mean, that was the weird lockout during spring training. And then Reds made a bunch of quick moves before the season. And then literally everybody got hurt. So that was a weird year when they were 62 and 100, lost 100 games. And then last year they were in first place at the trade deadline, finished above 500 again. And like they've got a chance to finish above 500, but it's like, I don't know. It's hard to rate them because they haven't been truly awful outside of a few seasons here and there. They're just never good.
Yeah, we haven't actually been good since
2013.
Yeah, I was about to say, was it 2013 or 2014? 2013. And then,
yeah.
I mean, even that one, like, 2012 was the last true, like, really, really good Reds team, honestly, because that 2013 team, they were wild card, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't
2012, they were possibly the best team in the majors. Only the Nationals had a better record, and then Cueto got hurt in the beginning of the Giants series, and they never recovered and almost swept them still until they had.
If you didn't watch like 2011 to 2014 Johnny Cueto, you missed out. That dude was special. That dude was damn good for a few years there.
Nate was talking about that.
I love Johnny Cueto.
He was the most fun. I mean, just besides being a great pitcher, he was just a fun guy to have around, like awesome personality. His Instagram was fantastic to watch because he posted some of the most unhinged, crazy shit on there. He's still kicking around. I forget he left, was with the Marlins organization in the minors, I believe.
He played for the minor, or he played for the minors.
Yeah, played for them, and I forget. I think it's maybe with the Rangers. He's still kicking around in organizations.
He's a free agent. He was on the Rangers in spring training, it looks like.
Yeah.
But it's probably the end now. Last year he played, though. He did play last season. I mean,
yeah.
He's in the Hall of Very Good if you look at his career numbers. He's in the Hall of Very Good.
I can't believe he's 38 already. I mean, yeah, he came up in 2008 as a kid, as 22, but
do the math. 2008, 16 years ago. Seriously, it's crazy, but
I know it's horrifying.
Coach basketball, and they were all born in 2010, and I feel old. They told me they were like, "You were born in 2002? That's so old." I was like, "I'm old? What the hell?"
Listen, those are kids.
That's the first day I was ever called old. I was like, "What?"
Those are kids that are a year younger than my son. My son was born in 2009. So, believe me, I feel it. When people who you went to high school with, like their kids are now in college, and that's not even having kids crazy early.
Yeah, like, people I went to high school with, they're having babies now for the first time.
Yeah, that's nuts. Anyway, we were talking about what's going on around the rest of the riverfront. Late night Reds, Friday. God, I am struggling with days. What is happening? It is Friday today. Late night Reds every Sunday live, 9 p.m. Eastern. Tim and Ben always catch up with them. They're awesome. NBA Happy Hour. What's going on in NBA Happy Hour?
We didn't have an episode this week because there's literally nothing to talk about. But next week we'll talk about.
We know how that feels.
We'll preview the Olympics a little bit next week.
I figure that's where you guys are going next with the Olympics because that's literally what else is the only thing that's happened. You guys started with WNBA.
Free agency's dead. What'd you say?
You need to be WNBA Happy Hour for a week. Caitlin Clark is tearing shit up.
She is
putting up crazy historic numbers as a rookie. as expected. I think the
Only
league
problem
still
is they're
sucks.
on break now too.
Oh, that's yeah. The league sucks because it's just an awful, like, the way that it's officiated is just terrible. It's like the late '90s Knicks and Heat, where everyone just kicks the shit out of each other.
I agree with you. Yeah, they literally like foul so much and stuff.
You,
I think the problem is with a lot of it is like just some of the quotes they have and stuff. Just I'm just like, come on.
yeah, you have legitimate, like,
There's
stars that,
ballers in the league.
yeah,
Sabrina is the problem is like the WNBA. The problem is there's girls in that league that are just as skilled. Not obviously you play 1-on-1 versus
yeah.
individual.
I mean, you have size and speed.
Yeah,
that,
size and speed, genetics that you're not able
Yeah.
to because you weren't born that way. But like skill wise, like Sabrina Ionescu, she's so good.
Yeah.
Like Caitlin Clark always gets all the Sabrina Ionescu was Caitlin Clark before Caitlin Clark. That girl was so hyped out of college and stuff. And people forget she's probably the best player in the league, in my opinion. Outside of Asia Wilson, she's just huge and dominant.
You have marketable stars. And give them Jordan rules, for God's sake. Like, let their talent level, let their skill play. Like, do what the league did to Jordan, and like, don't let the Pistons beat the crap out of him for 48 minutes. Like, call fouls, let them, not that you want to see a crazy march to the foul line, but you want a good product out there. You want your stars to be able to show their skill level.
I agree. So. I 100% agree, and I think just as a whole, I think it definitely has got better and stuff. But like, I think college women's basketball is more enjoyable. Not like just random games, but like big time tournament games is more enjoyable than the WNBA. To be completely honest,
the ratings that the women's basketball,
I know that,
look crazy, and that's awesome. Like, I am, my daughter plays basketball. Now, she doesn't watch it yet because she's still batshit crazy, as you guys have seen throughout this episode. But being able to put the product out there, like, so girls can watch and see, like, listen, this is something you can do. You want to bust your ass, like, this is you can be this person that's on there, and that's what's been missing.
And it's a lot less, and 100% with girls, it's a lot less genetic dependent.
Yeah,
it's a lot less. You don't have to be like, you can be a 5'6" girl as where like a guy. If you're not 6'6", you have to be the most skilled MFer on the planet.
Yeah, exactly. So. Elsewhere on the front, Red Leg Roundtable, Seth welcomes former Red Drew Stubbs, who is also one of the most useful Immaculate Grid answers. Have you ever played Immaculate Grid?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm terrible.
My dad always call me and be like call me downstairs. So like, Parker yells at me, and they'll ask me like an NBA one, like on the Immaculate Grid. Like baseball, he'll have by himself, but yeah, he'll ask me.
My best score in baseball was like a 7, I think. Okay. It's from collecting a lot of baseball cards as a kid and just remembering names of just completely obscure guys that played for multiple teams. That comes in very handy. So
the football one is the hardest for sure.
Yeah, it's difficult because, again, there are so many players, and a lot of guys that are fringe players that would give you awesome scores are just so forgettable.
Yeah, the football one is like hard to even just fill out, to be honest. Like because the football one will have some random teams that you're like, who the hell played? Like the NBA one for me is super easy. Yeah. And then the baseball one I think is the second easiest. The football's the hardest.
Yeah, Tim will post some of his stuff for the NBA ones, and I'm like, I got no idea. I haven't followed enough, or to be able to, like, when they have these point or the stat lines, so like 20 points a game and something like that. I'm like, outside of legit dudes, there's a huge gap from guys that I remember and guys earlier in history. I know stuff from the mid 90s until like 2000, or mid 80s to like 2000. Anything outside of that, I got nothing.
Yeah.
So we have blathered on about a bunch of stuff. Probably half the episode has been talking about stuff outside the Cincinnati Bengals, which is completely cool with me because we still don't have a whole lot to talk about for another couple weeks. But
most of what we talked about was Cincinnati based. So
true. They need to get. Oh, they need an arena before they can get an NBA or WNBA team.
Get us a WNBA team. I was about to say that. We're not going to get an NBA team.
Yeah, so build the arena next to TQL that they want to do, and then get a WNBA franchise, and then get an NBA or NHL franchise to come in later. I'm cool with that. Or all of the above. Screw it. Why not?
Do you watch hockey at all?
I used to. It's probably my second or third favorite sport to watch.
Really?
It's an incredible product to watch. I've been to a bunch of games, like Cyclones games. I've been to NHL games. It's incredible to watch. It's fun to watch, but I just don't keep up much because I don't have a team anymore. I would follow, and I've always been a casual Chicago Blackhawks fan, but the older I get and there's more crap going on outside of life, you just don't get a chance to watch as much. So if we had a team that to have a strong rooting interest, I mean, shit, I've watched FC Cincinnati and I'm not a soccer fan by any means, but if we had a franchise, I would definitely be a hardcore fan.
Yeah, I would. I wouldn't be hardcore, but I'd definitely watch more if we had a franchise for sure. Like I watched zero regular season hockey, absolutely zero. But I turn on playoff hockey for sure, and I don't know always what's going on, but it's exciting. And like I guarantee though, getting drunk and going to an NHL game would be a thrilling experience.
Absolutely.
I can guarantee, like that would just be because I don't like a basketball game. I'm not trying to get like to where I don't remember. Like I'm trying to remember that event when I'm at an NBA game. You know what I mean? A hockey game, I don't care. I'm just trying to have fun. This isn't my sport. I would just be there to have fun.
Yeah,
honestly.
The best thing is go up to Columbus, watch a Blue Jackets game. I don't care about the Blue Jackets. I hope they fail because screw Columbus. But I took my son up last year and just watching the game without having a rooting interest. And just watching like just how fast the game is and just how entertaining it is, just the skill level. These guys go so fast. Oh, by the way, they're on skates while being like the stick work that they can do. It's like, imagine what Kyrie's probably the best ball handler in the NBA still, right?
Yeah.
Imagine someone with that skill on ice skates.
Yeah, no, 100%.
And it's just insane to have that dexterity. I can't ice skate for God's sakes. You have to be a great skater on top of that. Also, you have to be able to handle a flat, round object with a curved, like almost a hockey stick looking thing, or a golf club looking thing.
Almost a hockey stick looking thing.
A hockey stick looking thing, like a hockey stick. God, man.
Yeah, I can't skate at all. So right there, I'm ineligible to ever play hockey.
I went ice skating like we took a bunch of kids went this winter. And I was okay skating when I was younger. Like I didn't go a lot, but I could stay on my feet. I fell 3 times. Once I landed on my knee and then chest so hard, I almost blacked out. I'm like, no, I'm done. This is it.
I'm retired from skating.
Yeah. Luckily, one of the dads is a nurse. And like, I'm like, I feel like I'm about to black out. So he's going to sit down. Like, okay, cool. Like, make sure I don't die, man.
Death to ice skating wouldn't be the best way to go out.
Yeah. It looks fun until you almost become a statistic. Any final thoughts before we get out of here, brother?
No, I don't got anything else. Ready for train camp. Well, ready for the season.
Yeah. We will be back next week. We will have actual stuff to report on. Outside of that, hooday, everybody.
Hooday.